something good. We are waiting for a common miracle. One single one. We all want peace, love. That is why it is extremely important to invest in work within the child of our unity. It is undeniable that this is the key to success. Love is the key to success. We must invest in ways that do not believe. The righteous needs to do what good deeds we can do, what good deeds we can do. What is a good deed? A good deed is something that will be good, will be better for the connection between us. Hear from us, and it is good examples, and it is to give strength to each other, obligations to each other. We have the power of soaking, and the more so, everyone has an elephant. All these deeds come that we want by connecting love in us to get closer to the Creator, and therefore during the lesson we need to demand the connection. We pray. We are a conduit between the God and the meal. Yes, and we can do these signs during the lessons. Basulam letter 52. They are still saying, and I will hear. The hearing from the Creator completely depends. 52. While they speak, the pain is not in the least thirsty for prayers of the righteous and God and the great face, and he comes out, act, and hear my prayers together. Let's all pray together. Ask, talk, and pray of again. Ask the Creator together. Talk and the pray of peace. In the first part of the lesson, we watched the lesson in 2007 from Amag 49, Article 869, writing and signing, expired, and a good signature. We see that the person himself does not have to write the letter, what he wants to write to his friend, whether to inform him of something or to ask him for something. If the person signs the letter, it is enough that the letter written is true and that it was sent. Likewise, conversely, if the person wrote the letter himself, but another person signed his letter, this letter is not evidence that it was a letter. The name on white that a person is called his desires in. The desires of everyone are softened, so we feel about what he is. We, if a person just from what he feels in life, it is actually not there, and wanted to enter his will, he through his shoulder, he will be completely different everyone at the expense, as we learn easily. And when in our place to do something in this, are the a person from just a creature feels how the thought is called writing black on white, signed. If his intention in existence is found, that writing was the commandment's good deeds. It is called before need the matter of the not latuber. It is in other words all our work that we are in spirituality that begins with a person in my life. What I live for that person comes in place in Kabbalah at the end of the Sefirot wa Kapka. In a person begins already everyone who years of this inner complexity begins. I will satisfy the will. So a person needs a name. He wants how to influence in order and the daughter of all that is. So with intentions, only the group to which it is called that you will get closer to the root soul there that by violence receives more and more the light that is full of soul in infinity to the state that he is in a world called willingness. He does not know how it works right now. Calls we want to move this. Writing and good signature are actually that to do that. He stands at the beginning, at deed and correction, the desires that all be on purpose. Certainly, his year for a person, music, questions. Yes, I wanted to know what it means first at that first one. Must do good deeds, and then comes our development stages in this expansion. I don't know anything in this world. It is until the beginning of the soul that was before desires, and when there is a point in the heart that he begins to ask for what is called the infinite world. This is a great tool that means empty. In the the lights of the world, it seems, of what is called the world of man in our world that is preserved, or what is called a point to return, that it is in infinity. It began collecting such an action called descent to this world, descended through all the worlds, not felt. Life feels like a point from it, and when it comes to this, then means are brought to a person. He can really correct Nagar. Comes to the wisdom of Kabbalah, there is no point in the heart awakens, and he doesn't come to the impossible. This confession, this darkness that you see, people really every time to other places because of the electric order of the books of Kabbalah, and begins to learn by it. then awakens by the learning of the so-called comprehensive light that they wanted to be, as much as he wanted to understand nothing and achieve nothing can work. The teacher keeps him so he enters the rages, all kinds of him, all in for himself, until he crosses the barrier, until he crosses the bar, crosses the here, and from here on begins to be a tool that begins to repair. The tool is revealed. It is intended to influence every desire and will that is revealed, or on several desires together, so it is already each and every one. Cubes what will be, what conditions for the buyer on lifting, what desire let's say this number, so he begins to work ones until it comes to the one who receives in order to in all it is called, who arrived after the find themselves, and I arrived and I found, and they're already how to say and after arriving then we arrive. We have the influencer wants to ask about human and physical desires. This is confused. No, when I'm in this world, and this world influences me with all kinds of desires for going out, entertainment and all kinds of things, and my body is also in this way that I sometimes a day I don't need to turn the creator and I have to be worry in this world only, and no change comes out of it. Like it's Shabbat, now it turns into Adele in my spirit. You are in this world, in my friend, my question while working, how do I spare this, how many minutes you still owe to the body, this body that I am now, in I am now I live and am in the body I live, and body ending, and in a completely way all the commandments exist except the last one, called men, except that which now there is before greatness. All rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall up are to develop these desires or fulfill them. Don't go into any of that. I also did deserve something. How? Lest you do this all in that you are not in the desires of the body. In a way, how many times these desires weed and it falls his, or because he is nothing. Israel, straight from me, clear in some article the interest of the mind in the heart. Mind to 9 probability to say that it lowers that it is to the daughter. These near hers can they receive that, but in less than never collected system. All its purpose, how I, if there was no hole in the degree of the stone, it has no importance to a person in what flooded himself sun waves in the brain. That is gas all the time of them, and does not know where ends and it is above the mind what is called, that means who goes wants to reach him, desires and intentions more openings, that helps wisdom Torah, because believe longs to fulfill himself to achieve what he wants, but for himself qualities. Question Meza from Hafer, how can a person be sure that his act we never born he does not know what will happen to him all life? Can we need me in us? Because it is not how I relate to the invention, it stops him. Like we are the list that blood starts to rise, so I get some kind of new register every time. Here Shabbat, you need, in you we, fulfillment, need to realize it. I do not have to think what excess desires, but therefore I'm actually stretching why I'm toying with the goddess. I got these desires, now I'm getting used to it so that it will affect me, so I just need to fish, so knew that I don't know him and not how. This article we learned throughout the year how to work with kahod, that is how it is everyone creator love the creator influence you want on all his knees, that this music is called Rosh Hashanah is here in the year. This year did you think here every time we progress a new list of the week always unfolds as a daughter, a person. If he is consumed during the study during his life comes to the next world, ask him to come. It requires you all. We have a question from Gatlanter and also from Germany, and his reins can walk. So if a person stretches cuts, because he then will have the right attitude, who belongs to the development point in their heart. This needs correctly her unity, and these little children must take all things into account. MGM, as if this nothing, because he does it from being busy, not knowing 20 hours in physicality an hour. I'm constantly paralyzed for all them I don't, at the point of joining and then called the occupation in this world is a duty, and the order of acceptance from the opposite. I brought a group of Hanat at the Berg Institute lectures that I am now pulling. I don't know how. That is all. Half a year. Jid, this one say, new son with whom you are. Again to the next level I will say that. All the led well more. Infinity yes, that when a person grows then create the size of the desire hope. That level that does not feel good does not feel double. Feels that it already comes from the creator I have. A burning that I go through. Anti disturbances. Regular discovery. Yes well last question. And let's move on to the second part. The development of the steps the spirits actually. These steps the person actually every time in his path grows right. But we now relate the humiliations what we feel is this languages, but not such. Comes so that those that are revealed at this point at man, that it does not belong to bad and does not belong to me. Angels. Neither this nor that therefore. Man does not say in the end that I am the humiliation and this and all because of being. The desires are not mine. Weakness and humiliation is that. The desires of the good and the bad. He reveals that the power of the Torah is the power of the Torah which we are called to learn. And then for here. And before we move on to the second part, we will summarize the all of our development is the development of our from top to bottom. From 25 in the lists of the dead these lists. Right, in the head of this year, all of this, which is the head of change, the new beginning, we need to clarify, then where we can dedicate it, which can be dedicated to everything and everything that time does not praise. Yes, a special way of our own. We have. It is not like dealing with it precisely from the world of a beautiful rest, how every time we go up and down, Kim in his labors and continue like this all the time. This law that the rabbi has added up some points of ours, depending on all of ours, on all of the will in us, that I heard there, the correction, in short, in all the situations that are the best. So the problem is just how to fix it. And that's how we look at our world, which is the field of force A, special section of the lesson. The brain, it exists to help what the heart wants. A special system called the brain. The intentions are more peaceful, higher for me, in this, are applied to achieve things. This is the essence of our entire path, how we strive towards this development, to develop in ourselves the right tools to feel more or less at the same time. He also talked about writing the right words towards the Creator to attack what is right. What is written is not a dead life without moving towards the Creator. In fact, we are not considered a person pulling the thread, the point that we have built to order and why, and that is how we ultimately, as friends said, are engraved on our hearts. Our right will. We talked about intention. Yes, about adding intention. This is our only free act. This is a new beginning. We are going through it. We will now move on to learning among friends, and before that, we will sing a song together. Let's discover the connection between all people. Let's look beyond all the differences. Let's say together that we are willing to consider the whole puzzle, in which we will all soon be part. The end of wars. Everything can still be changed here. Let's discover the bond that binds hearts. Let's all get together and finally start living. Come on everyone. Come on everybody, let discover what is concealed. Come on everybody, let unseal the let ours together so we can find. So's this love will ours we will with open doors. Come on, everybody, invited to attend. The end of wars is near. Everything can still be changed here. Let's discover the bond that forges hearts. Let's all connect together and finally start living. Night, night. Music. No, you can help too. Hello friends, we are studying the article. About Marmozet in the article is in the 561st grade. We can't hear you. Yes, microphone so of the focus. Microphone to microphone. Talk now, or is that okay? You can hear me, eh? Yes, hello everyone. Actually, this year we are now entering a period of holidays. Year in. The rise towards the Neset will enjoy the Neset all This movement of ours towards connecting the light together, really to such a consolidation that we will reach the Nesat, Son, we so want we need, before us. Wonderful that it is, also to what extent and what not conditions do it how. Credit very important what is in short, mainly in things of parse, and also to add that very very important that we will be taught and really to enter hit and to require to be. We will watch now in clips from the heart while reading, sinning. Check is found and affect these, so let us therefore ourselves change something in the Creator. These we need something, and to that extent we will reveal to us everything in advance, so that are that which fell with the claims. You do not give to all we will reveal ourselves, all our work, our difference is the effect, and only this, in what is the initials lul I to my uncle and uncle to me implies in the work the writings of Baal Har Sulam, page 561. To understand this, she has a few more things: kingdoms, memories, kingdoms, cancelling the will, what the sages said, wicked, and wicked the goddess of life. See what is written in the holy Zohar, Gershon, Gershon, to the sons of Anshimai, D. What is written in the holy Zohar is a black spot, E. What is written, kingdoms, and what is the joy, if it is in perfection? All these things are used in preparation in order to understand the whole thing, the purpose of creation, that His will to begin, that it will not be a matter of nema, as a matter of a storm, and when the tools are prepared, that you immediately receive the good, that is, that you receive the good, and in this, what is written, from desire, cancelling the will to receive the will, means that man loves God, that he calls himself to Hashem, as a form of devotion to Hashem, and in order to bestow, and what is said, in order to cancel his will from your will, that the Hashem is now that there is a reflection, yes, there is now an expansion that he received from the ruler, that is, to come into effect, and in this, what is written, I am to my uncle, that is, in that I receive mine to Hashem, that he influences me, I will experience creation, that is, what was previously, and now we will say that it is, and must be known that the instruments of influence are called the name of the pure ones. Their interpretation is that all the receivers are pure and have two faces. Because it is impossible to remember beforehand, it is important that there be joy in the face, but it is impossible to hold on to it, and that it is a working person. Then the person can say what it is that I want to achieve, and if the Creator understands that he had backs, agrees with what is not true, if he still has sparks of his acceptance, then believe that this is the secret of the first letter, A. Point. That is all darkness. That is, at the time when the person comes to a state where he is no blackness in the heart, and from this we become, because the lower aspect that has nothing of itself, such that if he receives the kingdom of heaven upon him, it becomes free from that later, which is a tool of influence. That is, that this happened as an aspect of the Shacharit aspect, later, free of charge, a tool of influence, and this is, as it is written, the Lord sings to God. They must be able to understand and be, at the time they come to this state. What is not true is that the righteous are exalted by this. Those who still have the interpretation in their hearts should be entitled to the instruments of influence, but they are not able to, and this is like it is written in the Holy Zohar. The Shekinah said, you fled to him, Shimon, you fled, and it is enough to consider that there is no God, the desire to receive the final instrument that was sent into the heavens, and then there will be correction, and this is the secret of the righteous to immediately live, and there is a book of the righteous, the Godhead, at a person has many choices in this matter. Sometimes a person says, I want to be able to cancel the mountain. He wants two worlds, and the desire to bestow, in the book of the righteous, only God, and this is so that there is no place for me to pray for this, he will say later. No, therefore, he must say in his mouth, in the cup, his intention is not to come to arguments that must be known in the way of work, the book of the righteous, and the book that a person must make a choice, whatever it is, because it is an issue. Therefore, a person must say if he wants to be, that is, to be, that he wants to do everything, and likewise, when he is guilty of all these inscriptions, he says, let them be inscribed there for God, that is, the desire to receive, to be erased, as if. However, sometimes a person doubts, he tries to receive, meaning that it is difficult for him to have all his sparks be, which is not a companion, but he wants them to be cancelled, the vessel, the meaning of the word immediately. This person does not have a strong opinion, and a strong opinion is that, on the one hand, I receive everything, called what a person can do with the body, according to his opinion. It then belongs to say that a person does everything in his hand, which is to God, which will be in his hand for all his desires in practice, God, and for this we pray. Remember us and our fathers-in-law, life, and that which is written, kingdom. We were to our son, your will is nullified before his will. Desires in the shop, it depends, that is, if he receives the Shacharit, one must also strive that it is with him. Honour to the mouth, which is written, the sons of Gershon, their person, sins. That means that if a teen unit, which will illuminate all, he will feel good that a person is ready, and that which is written, that my day is precisely in a Lebanese form in the Morda, is if black, can agree to accept upon himself. Therefore, he must divorce himself from one of the heavens. Without that there is no such thing. If a person says that he is ready to accept upon himself the work a day that will be revealed to him, not a place, because in the king's palace they give me a gift, it is not important to say in himself, in fact, but even in a situation where he sees the form of a black god, God will give, that is, he does not criticize that God has him in the form of a white one, that he will give him power that he can do all. Therefore these people who want to work in the desert will always be in our Lebanese situation. To continue, so there is a correction of the Rabbi of Lebanon for a person, time that shines. A person will never have a place to know, and this is why this time the name is given to him from above in the form of a mother in the Torah, if also in the state of Shacharit. It is his work, because a person should be happy to believe that from above he will have in his hand. It is as the sages said, all the gurgling, whoever is improved is angry that he is at a disadvantage. Ver. Click. Indeed, whoever wants to go in the form of an influence, with joy, all the lepers on him who have no intention. Therefore he says, what is his soul, if he really has the means to be the one he is, and if he feels that he still needs to be happy, he, for his part, says that he doesn't want anything that can't be accepted. He has to accept what isn't there. If he thinks that from this work, he already gives permission to hide, and this makes him sad. Yes, as we see, an article loaded with all our work in all the right forms, all the situations that Mr. is great that we can facilitate it better, narrower from the action, the things that Shrabash and the owner of the scale wanted to convey to us here. 562, column A, paragraph, what is written is called, and after that we will do a workshop on it, okay? Let's read the paragraphs. Page 562, and this is what is to be interpreted. What is written is that a person, no self the name that will cancel himself to the name can illuminate within the will to receive yours, in terms of cancelling his will, because his will is what is not so, therefore to the will of the one who received in order to bestow that. What is written is that I cancel the will to receive, then remember the uncle. That means the Holy One, blessed be he, the goodness and pleasure that what was before in terms of Esther and narrowing, now the purpose of creation. We see that he writes here about when I cancel the will, we will do. We want to ask what is actually the holy will and the creators to discuss about the dukkha begins with this, that precisely from the cancellation it is possible to reach a state of devotion that is called the examination of yours, ours. It is only from that it is a self-examination, allows to acquire tools of influence, allows it, not that of the one who asks, for a disadvantage that is not yours. Our equality, it is our independence that we need to be annulled from within and allow the Creator to be. Blood Levites, their transformation of form cannot be, and a person must constantly be in the supreme will through study, and in this he is clearly mistaken. I have never looked at it that way, but it is written that the Lord annuls, let's say, reduction in heap is that he built the free space. So, through the reduction on this, one paragraph before that he explains that the purpose of creation is you. We need to annul ourselves. When we annul ourselves, he says that he annuls the possibility, and what he says in order to annul his will before his will your means that it was for the sake of changing form, according to what you say. From this, that the Creator in the end does this annulment. Precisely from this, the secret of the reduction is revealed. Yes, without this, there is always a connection with the Creator, always the Creator illuminates too. We not different from him, the annulment of the will, the annulment of itself. Yes, the annulment itself is not the annulment of my essence, but rather it is a way for him, you can say maybe against the will of God, to replace us and count. In order to bestow a will to receive, in order to receive will never be fulfilled. It is not intended for this, but rather on its face, and to seek the will in order to bestow a revelation of the face. Even so, we can enter Benheim through truly cancelling our will, all the new, all the impression that he is the first. It is just about ourselves. We will continue to the next section. We will call it, who is this, the thing that begins with this, and then we will ask some question. But there is a condition for this, because there is a revelation that receives the revelation of this, as if he had a minister, like a revelation. Important to me, that I feel a stranger, he is with me, to the Creator, understands that he will have more if he works. I agree, which is true. If he still has sparks of acceptance, which is hard to believe, there is a being that it is all darkness, and he's, while the person is in a state, then his state becomes black. Second, in the examination, they would return, and from this crown, the lower crown, which is in the upper, and nothing, that there is nothing, the strength, if he receives the kingdom that I erased. It is later, that is, that he received an aspect that we see here in the section that he places for us seemingly becomes possible. Why? For receiving the keystroke. What is the condition? They make it easy for the fugitive to say the Eschen test, as if he had already won, as by nature it is possible. So our question now is, how do we hold on to all the situations we have been holding on to, as if it were? Because it says otherwise, we are holding on to a face. Let's talk. Yes, it is written here later in the answer, but it is impossible to conclude that there will be a status that will be hidden. Yes, a person works in terms of influence. What is important to me is what I feel while working, because the main thing is for me. More if he works in terms of action. All that needs to be done is to work in terms of influence. It doesn't matter if it is or not. But there is a chicken and egg here. Yes, it is impossible to do without it, and it is impossible to do with it. It remains in my mind. I see that the Creator is concerned that we are successful in deceiving our perception of reality, and looking at the examination, we want to talk about the examination of the back, which is the one who has the intention to receive, and not the one who has the intention to influence. All the time, the back is from the desire to receive. That means that we see it from the desire to receive, yes, with us, and shows us what the damage is. And this is the thing that has changed. For 20-30 years, we have the intention to receive, and where should we want to be the one who has the intention to influence? We are working in terms of that, because that's how it is in the trap of all the concealments, or in general, understanding everything that we have to do again and dedicate all our work to it, to our friends, the good, and to this work, and to this lolling we can even hold these shim. It is clear that you are immersed in your acceptance. You do not have that we have. Friends, we are moving towards a God who will help us dedicate everything we do only to friends. This is not clear. It is not even clear how. Or maybe ask for it. Ask, maybe we will receive it. Comes to deal with the it is clear that the person needs to see what is important to him, and if he is in it or not, and what that siege, that everything comes from him. More than that, and there is no other power that, so no matter what he receives, and suffers and everything. Special I just wanted to add what is very special in our wisdom, in our way. Theoretically, the whole date yearns for us and builds us, and we will look at the final goal in this, but really practical that there is an iron connection with the environment only if it does not exist in our tools that we only friends exist and, as a cracked tooth, can only embrace the friends to move forward. Continue this work really to a state of connection with. We will continue to the next section. It is on page at the beginning thing, and this is the secret of the righteous to improvise to life itself. In what book? If in the book of the righteous who wants we would be, since there is to be affected, that is to say, the person says right I want, but not to cancel, but that he wants seconds to say that also the desire to influence. But the scribe of the righteous are registered, only those, all his that were influence and not to receive. This is so that you will not have anything to say that the desire to you to start praying about it later, not that is why he needs to say in the prayer from what was completed him later in claims to know in the way of work. Scribe note that the person himself needs to no clarification see what he wants, because the matter of evil righteous people speak be. Therefore the person needs to say if he wants to be registered in the second immediately to life to be what he wants to do. We watched in clip number 1. We will have a very special writing task where he wants to write clip number 1, where the Rab will explain to us about the relationship, friends, ourselves to the situation, a row of tools of our acceptance in order to receive a tzaddik, the influence that we as letters to friends and write these notes of the mouth about friends, write to them written that you are feelings, how much you love them, how much you are okay between you. This is so like that as we saw told us now. Yes, write how much you love them, how much you want to connect with them to reach what the Rab told us now to be to friends, how much he loves them, how much he really is everything that the Rab also writes on the phone. Write code. And now with all this prayer we enter the reading of the end, wherein the very events of things, and let's use that. Now we feel these questions that we want to feel this way towards the very actual that they will receive power. We read on page 564 a column A. Therefore these people row, therefore these people. Page 564. Therefore these people are Lebanese gifts to worship. Because while the person illuminates, even in the form of acceptance for himself, therefore there is a place to know if his work is in order to deserve to imagine a state of shacharit. This is a person should be happy that from above we gave him an opportunity to be like this, as the sages said. He is angry, he who is immersed in self-acceptance, in a disadvantage, that is not to see his instrument of acceptance to go in a life of influence in all forms, is fasting. Therefore he says from what his soul really works in order to influence to be influential, and if he feels that he still does not, he also needs to be happy on his part, or does not want to be happy at work is. From this, what is not, yes, I think that also gives permission to hide, sister. These beautiful words. We will continue the prayer and move on to the Zohar. So be the Pivar. We read the book Zohar for the people of Karch 11, articles to the head this year, the Rosh Hashanah, and the New Year. Zohar for the people of Karch 11, page 187, articles for Rosh Hashanah, the Rosh Hashanah, and the day 380. On the day of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Bear Rosh Hashanah, and the Lord stands to recite the Katrak and call Elul from the waters of the waters, and to sound from the shofar. The months of the year are the correction of the dead, which is not completed every year, and therefore Rosh Hashanah this year, as it was lazy in the act of the will, as it is written, God, the two great ones who were then left as the white tiger. There are no two kings who are not there, and Zerog the stand clings to the kingdom of Damlin and the footstools. Because Rosh Hashanah is the left of the new year, they need to be rejected, which were made and are not in the second correction, and this action is the and it is known that there is a house of various voices, all the kingdoms that are not dead, all the understanding were the kingdoms which then have their voice, as much as their understanding is called the shofar. The screen is included in each other in the lines by this screen. We are seated, one by one, by this, the matmar, the gar, the dejur, the kissen of the kingdoms, 382, and all that rises to the place of the throne of judgment. We are driven out. We are seized by a blow from the cage, which is the kingdom of the throne of all this from below. We will fix it. Above, kindness, Jacob, mercy, and then the Holy One, blessed be he, awakens with mercy, awakening all the fire that comes out of the shofar against them above, in the shofar that is strong to blow. He is you, everything is done by me, and also the same, and they awaken, and the three are extinguished in the understanding of the six. And all the fire that comes from above here, and comes out above, comes out on the screen. The world is embarrassed, who thought that the world would be destroyed. His third, etc., can do that. The Holy One, blessed be he, is a man in mercy, in justice, not done in what has diminished. Mercy, in justice, mercy, because an animal called the recipient of mercy shrinks and diminishes, lies on the left. A snake was not in the world. Come to the center with the book of Zohar. It is all intended for us. The light that brings us back. We water them in it who water it. Think about it too. I need that reduction. I want to enter Levi to be the moon, because then the moon rules over the ears and the hot ones, and the Jershmal is still there, and the leaves are for the appearance of his sleep. 385 on Yom Kippur. 1. Should deal with Satan in a Kippur way with the rest who are sent. Where is his place? And then be this year and does not know anything. The awakening of mercy, influenced from above, the kingdom of heaven, and does not know and cannot. 386. He judges Israel, having mercy on them, and gives all the days, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, all these for holiness, for correction, to do all the commandment of blowing the shofar, that there's no one over them, that the Lord may not rule over them, the Lord, all in the land. The lower part, the commandment, blow the shofar in the month. 8. Blow the shofar in the month in the throne for him. Yes, a year. He is all the witness, the world is in the law. This is the lower part, and a proclamation goes out, the soothing ones to the Lord, everything. Once, 89, and he shines for us in the wilderness. Why did everyone wake up in the seventh world, the kingdom of the world coming? From it all the candles, all the holy ones, and all the blessings, the kingdom. When the time came for the new year, the blessings, peace, and joy, and the holy ones, corrections to maintain the worlds. If they are righteous, then they stand that are not, until they are perfected, and then the law, and from the law, the star strengthens. And why is it not permissible to break an object? 91. And in the last star, there is a hard shell that can be broken. It is to be able to break it. Until here, the reading of the Zohar for today. Friends, today is Monday, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, we will go over the mid-year Rosh Hashanah. The hours of this class were held today, this year, 3 days. Note 5 a.m. here between Shalted, class schedule, and Ben 6, a meal for him. Please note regarding registration for meals. Be sure to register on time. I was allowed to erase everything that I saw. It grew and stood before me like a wall in a general way. Or be or ikatkoe. Ourselves. There never end, we will rise above ourselves. Step that we take that we bring rise higher above ourselves. Towards the light that never ends we will rise above ourselves. The step that we take that we bring rise higher our never he. Applause or music. Peace. In the first part of the lesson we saw in the 2007 lesson 49 article 879 writing and signature Takmaparg. Good signature. We see that the person himself does not have to write the letter what he wants to write to his friend. whether to inform him of something or to ask him for something. If the person signs the letter, it is already enough that the letter that was written is true and that it was sent. And likewise, conversely, if the person wrote the letter himself, but another person signed his letter, this letter is not evidence that it is the letter. The name on a white that a person is called desire, but in desires put everyone, softens, in a way, so feel, about what he is. We if a person just from what he feels in life it is actually not. There extinguish can enter the desire, supplication, how to evaluate, and by this the shoulder, he will be completely different, all on the account, as we learn in easier, and rash, it is actually, I can add the place our facet to do something in this, our head is us the year person from just a creature, feels how the thought is. Called writing black on white, field signature as a child measure. If his intention in existence is found that the writing was the commandments, the good deeds, it is called first need, not that do not say good. And this is in other words our work that we in spirituality that begins with a person in my life for what I live that a person comes in place in Kabbalah at the end of the Sephirot, while Kabbalah in a special person words begins already everyone who years of this inner complexity begins how I will satisfy the desire, and ease is a person needs there he wants what is called to influence in order, and in it is so with intentions only that a group to call it he approached him it is called that he joined the root soul field on by violence he receives more and more of the light at is full of soul and infinity to the point that he is in a world of willingness. He does not know how it works exactly that cold like wants to write and sign a good signature. They are actually what a person does. He stands at the beginning of the act and the desire that runs. That is all intentionally this year in the blood. Questions? Yes, I wanted to know what it means. First one must do good deeds, and then comes in our development. Stages in this development, I do not know anything. It means in this world it parses until it begins with the purification of the soul that was before desires, and we are money as a bolt at a point in the heart that he begins to ask in the resurrection, called the world of gathering, and this is a great tool, that is, we run in the horror of the world of lights. This is called peace, completely called the world of man in our world, keep such a desire, what is called the point of returning, that he is in infinity. It began to gather, such an action called a descent into this world, descended through all the worlds, not felt as a point from it, and when it comes to this, in a person is brought means, he can really correct a point and does not reach the wisdom of Kabbalah. There is the heart and this hematism that you see in the blood, really, every time to other places, because you are in the order of the books of Kabbalah, and starting with this Kabbalah, then awakened by the learning, called the comprehensive light high,